Hey everyone, in this video, I'm going to start a new kind of series that I'm calling Demo the Docs, Demo the Documentation. And the documentation that we're going to demo today is coming from a Llama Index, and it's an article on how to utilize the Llama Index with open source multimodal language models for image reasoning. So that's, you have an image, and this language model is able to, describe the content of the image. So it's very powerful technology, and I thought it was very interesting to kind of learn how to use it, and hence demo the docs. So as I go through this, the documentation, I learned that there's a Jupyter notebook that Llama Index has provided for us, kind of to step through the code and understand how it works under the hood. Uh, Maybe let me just take a quick step back just to explain what Llama Index is. Llama Index is basically a framework for working with large language models. Okay, it's like a data framework for working with those, and it's very powerful. And it's using these open source um, language models, and it's comparable. These language models are comparable to GPT-4, and so that's the reason why I'm excited about this library. Um, and inspired me to actually take a look at it today. So if we actually go and take a look at this notebook, it actually takes a little while to run. Um, and let me also just mention that um, the multimodal capabilities that these that Llama Index is utilizing for these multimodal models is provided by a API called Replicate. So Replicate allows us to run inference on those language models. I've been at it for a while. So each one of these language models. So it looks like we finished. So each one of these language models that are in here replicate. This API allows us to access the image reasoning capabilities, which makes it multimodal. Excuse me. So that's what Replicate is doing. So it's very, it's new to me, and I've kind of been at this for a while. As you can see, let's take a look and see some more. So this is basically making predictions on all of those images that I'm passing to it. So an hour ago, so I've been at it a couple days. So here's a notebook that I've kind of customized with my own kind of content, and we're just going to evaluate the content of some images. Okay. So first of all, this notebook, you want to install Replicate and Llama Index. Okay, so both of those what I just described. So we've done that. We're going to initialize the environment variables. So in order to use that Replicate service, you're going to need to have an API key. I'll delete this API key by the time this video lands on social media, but that's what you need to put in here, and that's what I was kind of showing here. I'm using this LLM token. So as this title says, we're downloading each image. We're going to be using an image handler to download and process these images into the LLM, the multimodal LLM. And I've taken a page out of Dr. Harvey Castro's book. And so in this demo, I want to actually see how powerful, how accurate this these open source multimodals can evaluate medical images. Okay, so I have three of them here. So we're creating a list for those medical images. We call it image URLs. And for each one of those image URLs, what we're doing is so these are web pages. These are on web pages. We're making a request out to that web page. We're getting the content of the image, and we're saving it locally. Okay, and and this is going to be how we actually start to feed the images into the language model after we've downloaded them locally. Okay, so that's what that is. Okay, so for each of those image documents, it we're able to get the well, we're actually on this particular part, we're actually saving it to test images, and we're giving it a name, file name that begins with the index of the however many images that are actually inside of that list. Okay, so to visualize these images, um, Llama Index gives us a method called display image URIs, and it may be using matplotlib under the hood, but it's not directly called here. But I think you may need to use that inside of a Jupyter Notebook. But the display image URIs method is being used to display the images. Okay, so these are the images that I've taken from the internet. Okay, so for each of one of these images, we want to pass a prompt, a series of prompts that ask questions about the images. What kind of what is shown in the image. Um, is there anything unusual about the image? I'm just using like this default questions inside here. Actually, I probably could change these, but I already have the results done. So it actually takes a while to for the LLM to do image reasoning. So I will yeah, I will kind of pass on that just at the moment, but I'll explain what's going on. So for each one of those images, we're going to have a prompt, and we're just going to see if the multimodal LLM can evaluate the image based on these questions. So for each of those prompts, each of those images, we're going to basically instantiate a multimodal um, LLM. Okay, from those open source that I showed you. Okay, so that's what this is doing, and there's three of them that we're going to be using, and so what this is doing is going over each one of those, and we're just instantiating each one to evaluate the output that it is going to give us. Okay, so I've already finished this one, so now let's take a look and see what the output of that is. So what is shown in the image? The image shows a close-up view of the human skull, focusing on the neck and jaw area. Here we go. That's this one. Let's try this one. So I mean, so each one of these language models is being asked the same question, and it's going to evaluate it basically. Okay, so what's shown in this image? The image shows a close-up view of a human hand with a broken bone, specifically a broken wrist. There you go. And it continues on and on. Okay. And so I mean, is there anything unusual about the image? So I mean, it's these the answers to these questions are pretty pretty specific, and so I'd be interested to see if a doctor can evaluate this. But that's the main um, reason I wanted to create this video. I think it's pretty cool. It's pretty powerful. It looks to me like the reasoning over these images is pretty strong. So I'd be happy to understand and talk to any doctors out there to see how this evaluates out. But again, that's what I kind of wanted to show everyone today. It's a very powerful framework and an API framework. The framework being LlamaIndex and the API being Replicate uh, to perform multimodal um, tasks um, for image reasoning and also text as well. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Please subscribe to my channel, and just thank you very much for watching.